Can you hear me okay, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Hey, right on time there. How's your day going?
Going good, Darren. How you doing?
I am great because you're on the line, to say the least, but that's an impressive area that's behind you. Is that a practice space or a basement studio or something?
Yeah, that's our rehearsal studio, and it's where we get the job done.
Does not have enough loose wires for my liking for a rehearsal space. There's not enough hanging stuff. Do you always keep it that clean?
Hell no.
You cleaned up for me. Well,
Yeah,
thank
yes.
you for taking the time. As always, you have no shortage of stuff going on. The From Chile with Love release is happening. When I spoke with you last year, you were raising funds related to Michigan flood relief. Now you're working with the Veterans Support Foundation. So it's always like there's a new release and there's a new charitable endeavor. Never a slow moment over there, right?
That's right. We got to keep it going and keep the love pouring out.
Now, filming this new DVD, this new release in Chile, how far out in advance do you know that you were going to be filming that show?
Well, we didn't get very much warning on that one because it was like the local promoter who actually did that show and did the first time we were in Chile. Carlos Pastin, his friend Carlos Toro had pitched him on doing a video. He said we could give Mark a good deal and do all this 8 camera shoot and. Man, he said the magic words, Darren. He said, good deal. So I'm going, good deal. We could use a good deal, come on. And I love it because these guys that actually shot the video were very courteous. This is the first time that we've ever done a video shoot live on stage where I didn't run into not even one cameraman. Seriously.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I think it's impressive that you didn't fall off the stage either.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of impressive moments within the show, but it looks great. It sounds great. I'd expect nothing less. And it's surprising to me because Chile, I would say about 15 years ago, the big American and British artists started touring there regularly. Like previously, you had to play the big festivals, but then the theater shows and the arena stars shows started doing, bringing artists down there. So this was your second time in Chile?
Actually, a third.
Third.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So were the original hits for Grand Funk and You the same in Chile as they were here in the States?
Yes, but they definitely picked some other ones like Heartbreaker. You can tell when the audience is singing it out. And Are You Ready? They love Are You Ready? And Foot Stomping. They love foot stomping music. And they really sing out, in a loud voice when it's something, they're really into. So yeah, they got different ones, but they still pick some of the hits too. I mean, they still like American Band and Bad Time to Be in Love. Oh, they love Bad Time.
That always intrigues me. I like to listen to, if I'm, say, listening to an 80s station, I like to listen to the one in Germany or Sweden and hear that the singles were totally different in other countries. But what I can never figure out is if that's because the label was working it or local artists covered it or what the deal was. Any idea why the hits were different for you in that part of the world?
Well, back then, it was the people there. It was whatever their desire was. What they wanted to hear was what the jocks would play. Up until 1996, you could call in and talk to a person. You could these guys told me, man, a lot of jocks told me, man, we loved Closer to Home, I'm Your Captain, because we could go out, we could do a number one, we could do a number two, we could eat a sandwich, we could have a coffee, have a cigarette, and but they love the song, and people when we play it live today, people are still showing the love for it.
Yeah, what you just mentioned about the longer song, the rumor I heard was that's why Alice's Restaurant became a big hit for Arlo Guthrie, because they could disappear for a little bit and do what they needed to do. There's not a lot of songs like that, because let's say Stairway to Heaven's a little over 8 minutes. You can't do that much in 8 minutes, but I'd say Alice's Restaurant's over 20. And then kind of between the two would be I'm Your Captain and the live versions and all that. So,
Right.
wow.
And MacArthur's Park, dude.
Exactly. Jimmy Webb's greatness right there. So,
Yeah.
so part of my ignorance here, the DVD goes to benefit the Veterans Support Foundation, or just other things you're doing also go towards that great cause?
Well, we've been involved with them for a number of years, and it is an extension of the Vietnam Veterans of America. And Keith King, who runs the Vietnam Veterans of America, and we're friends because we got hearts for our veterans.
Sure.
And $3 from every DVD sold of Mark Farner's American Band from Chile with Love is going to Veterans Support Foundation. And we're going to be writing them a nice fat check here in a couple of weeks, brother. It's going to be so good.
When you say the fat check, a lot of people, that'd be hyperbole. I'm not saying that for you, because the last time I had the pleasure of interviewing you, I think I pointed this out, that Billy Joel is to Long Island as Grand Funk is to Michigan, where it's that kind of thing where sometimes other regions of the states, they don't get it. They don't get how big Grand Funk was everywhere, multiplied by 4 times Michigan. So whenever I interview somebody from Michigan, say Sinbad loves Grand Funk. Grand Funk is one of those bands that everyone likes, no matter how old they are, no matter what genre they primarily listen to. They're that universal kind of band. So where I'm going with that huge amount of praise is, when did you realize that you were going to be okay long term for the rest of your life in terms of people listening to you? And I say that because there's a lot of artists who were big around the same time Grand Funk was the first time, but legacy management killed them, or they signed bad deals and they never recovered. But in your case, you've been fine for decades.
Yeah, the bad deals didn't stop us.
Yeah.
Everybody gets involved in those. And the main thing that people don't know, I didn't know when I was 19, 20 years old, that you had to have an attorney who was your representative between you and your manager, not who represented your manager also, like
Right.
it was, with us. That was a big mistake. And they took advantage of these 3 kids from Michigan. The first European tour, we grossed or we netted like $1.5 million, right? And they said, well, we can't take this back to the US because you're going to be the big tax trouble, blah, 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 blah. Let's put it in the most stable world currency and leave it in a Swiss bank account. And we thought, wow, just like other people do, whatever. And we said, yeah, okay, let's do it. That we didn't see a dime of that. Terry Knight did whatever he did with that money, but we didn't see a cent of it. And for the first year that we were actually touring and making money, we were getting $350 a week, and that was more than we had made as kids. I mean, just playing around. So we were waiting on that big money, but it just depends on how slithering low that supposed to be manager can go.
Yeah, well, most of the greatest rock bands ever got swindled. And it was also the question of when their second act happened. Aerosmith, that happened. Everybody it happened to, and how they bounced back and ultimately made up for it is all unique stories to all these people. But a thing that I give absolute credit to you for is that the statistic that Grand Funk sold out Shea Stadium, which is now basically Citi Field where the New York Mets play, faster than the Beatles did. And most artists, the rest of their career, that would be the main thing that they tout everywhere. They say for the rest of their lives. Not you. That's not even like the fifth thing that you'll tell people that you accomplished. But are we ever going to see the Shea Stadium show released? Is that something that's ever come up in all your downtime?
Well, brother Darren, it's in the hands of Don and Mel because they run the corporation. I am only a shareholder. I am no longer an officer. I have nothing to do with anything that they do. If I was to vote, and I have, but it's just like, ha ha, well, there's two of us, and they kind of rub it in and go, no. Like I've been pitching for over 22 years. Why don't we go out as Grand Funk, give them what neither one of us can give them separate from each other? And I told him, let's bury the hatchet and go out and do the music, for cripe's sake. It is time. It's way past time. But a friend of mine who's a DEA in DC told me, because of the way things went down, the person that set you up is never going to want to be around you again. Do you understand that, Farner? And I go, I kind of get it. Yeah, because they think you're like them, and that somehow that you would retaliate, and they don't want you to get the upper hand because they're rejoicing in whatever it is people that do that get. I don't know what they get. I can't go there. I don't even want to know because it's, it's out of my my sphere. My sphere is just love in here, and I don't want to have to react any other way. I would if somebody was threatening one of my family. I mean, you'd see a different Mark Farner, but man, it's about the love, and it's about that music, and it's about forgiveness, because that's got to happen, or things are not going to get better.
Yeah, well, hey, case in point, you were in the Ringo All-Star Band, which is all peace and love, as he says. But I also had the pleasure of seeing you live on what I call the almost Ringo Starr tribute band, the thing that you did with Rundgren and Christopher Cross, the Walk Down Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Tour. So I think you might be, you and Todd were the only two people to do both of them. Maybe Christopher Cross did both of them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Christopher Cross did too. Yep.
But anyone who plays in the Ringo Starr All-Star Band, you have to know is laid back and forgiven everybody from the past and moved on.
Yes, that's awesome. Good observation, Darren.
That's the recurring theme of it all. So projecting on you here, it doesn't seem like there's anything that you feel like you have to still do in your career. It feels like it's just what you want to do at this point.
Yeah, and that feels pretty good. It really does. The future is going to be whatever it is, but it's getting false information. There's a lot of false information out there right now, and people that have bought into the mainstream narrative are getting fooled. I've been saying it since '96. People got to pretend that their TV is their butt and pull their head out of it. It's all that's necessary. Don't believe the lies.
Right. With all the things you haven't done, if I've done my research correctly, a close friend of mine who's a diehard fan of yours named Joe Hassan, he pointed out to me that you've never done an all acoustic project. I don't know if we're both correct about that. Is that something on your radar that one day you hope to get done?
We have done all acoustic gigs. I've been doing those for a few years now. I go out with Dusty D'Annunzio from Windsor, Ontario, and our bass player, Paul Randolph. And so the three of us go out and do acoustic, sometimes we'll have somebody join us on stage or, come up, but we always have the audience join us on the background vocals. And that is so cool, because I didn't know people could sing the way people can sing. You don't find out until you're playing an acoustic gig where you can actually hear those people, you're close enough. in proximity, and it's a lot of fun. As far as recording something that way, there's the live stuff that's on YouTube, and you know, I haven't been approached by a promoter yet, but if one comes along and they have somebody that's a friend that wants to shoot a video and give us a good deal, yeah.
It all harkens back to that good deal, whether it's from Chile, whether it's from the States. So when I speak to artists, because I'm still taping interviews 5-6 days a week, you get 20 different answers from 20 different people. If you say, hey, so what's going on in late 2021, early 22? Some people say, well, we don't know. And other people go, well, we have dates. We're playing in Texas and Tennessee and California and Florida and all that. Which are you closer towards? Do you know a lot of what's coming in the near future besides promoting this great new DVD of yours?
Well, playing Ohio this weekend, and the following weekend in St. Augustine, Florida with Blue Oyster Cult. And in fact, we got like 3 dates down in Florida with them. And my agent is telling me that we've got dates coming in. So I'd be happy if we got 15 this summer, Darren, to tell you the truth.
Got it. So it's kind of like have guitar, will play, but I'm waiting on the world to tell me it's okay to play.
Word.
Exactly. Did having some off time, and again, you have kept busy, and you are a family guy, and you have your wonderful charitable causes, so it's not like you were just sitting around twiddling your thumbs per se, but did you discover any hobbies as a result of being off the road longer now than you have at any point in your career?
Actually, Lisa and I had a garden last year. Oh my God, it was the best garden we've had in 40 years because we had the time. And I don't know if you know anything about gardening, but you got to put your time in that garden and you have to weed it daily.
Yeah.
You just keep those weeds out of there. And that in itself is a personal, it puts you in a different perspective in your mind to pull weeds, because every time you do, you're looking at the plant that you're freeing from this evil little weed, and you're looking with a lot more hope now because you just got rid of some of what would hold it back. So I'm doing the weeding throughout my life now too.
Yeah.
The garden is spreading out. I'm just pulling out the ones that are just gonna make trouble and leave those good ones to grow strong.
So your inner circle keeps getting closer, and it's not just full of wasteful people and wasteful opportunities, rather.
Right on, brother.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Well, you got time for 3 quick questions, and then you're a free man, Mark?
Okay, yeah, man.
First one, as I talked about, the influence of Grand Funk is to Michigan as Billy Joel is to Long Island. I think that's a compliment. I hope that's a compliment to you too.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay. Now, Michigan, of course, had a quote unquote rock revolution because Greta Van Fleet rose up. Did you hear from anyone from their camp at any point in the last few years, people trying to connect the classics with the new big thing?
No.
That's a simple answer right there. I didn't know if we were going to find out that, oh, yeah, their dad was a diehard fan of the band, or we shared a tour manager or anything like that. No connects at all.
Nothing.
Got it. Well, at least Alice Cooper's recent Michigan-centric EP, at least that kept the connection going.
Yeah, dude, that was fun.
Absolutely.
And that's where my bass player came from. Paul Randolph was the bass player on the Alice Cooper session. I had never heard of him before, Darren. But when I got in the studio and playing with him, thinking, no, boy, this boy can play. And then standing next to him, man, when we're doing background vocals, and he's up here. I'm down here 5'7". He's like 6'4", 6'5" up there. And I'm thinking, how is that high voice coming out of that huge guy? And he's got the most beautiful voice, and we blend together because our whole heart, our whole end game is the love that we're going to give out once we hit that stage, and we always are, we're prayed up before we get out on that stage. We're giving it to love. We're asking love to show up, and it's working good, man. When you got guys who love each other, and they go out on stage and you play our music together, it
Sure.
comes over like waves of love, brother, and it works.
Yeah, you definitely are in rare company in terms of getting that love for about 45 years now. Most people just do karaoke once and get that. Next question I have. Michigan, besides music, has also been important within the world of professional wrestling. There was the old territory where the Sheik was a big guy. Was that ever something that was on your periphery? Was there ever overlap between professional wrestling and Grand Funk?
Actually, my wife, her uncle is the Sheik.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Ed Farhat, was that his name?
Yes. And from St. Ignace, her Lisa's dad's Uncle Ray up there in St. Ignace, it was his wife's brother. And they, that was the family relation. And just to know, I mean, I remember Leaping Larry Shane, and some of the other guys that I used to watch in the wrestling, but the Sheik always had that crazy, you never knew what to expect from the Sheik, and he played it out good. But I didn't have any crossover things or no, inner twined relationships with any of the wrestlers outside of, I really liked watching.
Wow, what a small world connection of anyone I could have named. The Sheik he's a distant foreigner right there. And then my closing question, and this could include as much self-promotion as you want or as little, that's any last words for the kids?
The last words is, owe no man anything except to love them. Release yourself from the indebtedness others made you believe in. You're the only one that can. No one else can. No one else has the power. It is the spoken word that puts us in fear or puts us in glory. And if someone's spoken word is putting you in fear or putting you in debt, do not adhere to that word. That's a bad word. The words we need to adhere to are loving, compelling. They are safe words, and the ones speaking them are the ones that you can trust.
Not just from Chile with love, from Michigan with love. So, Mark, thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to seeing you live in New York whenever that can happen.
Thank you, brother Darren. Good to be with you again.
Paltrocast.